Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for an auspicious occasion, which is the launch of our 2022 Rain Barrel program in the middle of this very big drought that we are experiencing. We are so happy to have everybody present here today. And we have uploaded both an agenda and a speakers list of today's press conference to talk about what we're doing, the program. And we also just sent out a press release with some quotes in it that also explains the program. So I'm gonna just take a few moments to explain what the program is and how it works. And then we will be walking through our speakers list for the wonderful speakers that we have here today from 11 of Utah's municipalities across 3 county geographies. And so I am going to go ahead and share screens if I can for just a moment to just show some visuals for today's program. So this is our 8th year of operation of the Rain Barrel program, which we call Rain Harvest. And this is the Rain Barrel being offered today, moving forward for about the next 5 or 6 weeks by these wonderful 11 municipalities here in Utah, northern Utah. And what you're looking at on the right there is the Ivy Rain Barrel, American-made barrel manufactured out of North Carolina from 100% recyclable materials. To date, we have distributed 5,700 of those barrels in Utah, and we as a collection of cities are one of scores of US cities that have been selected to receive these rain barrels. The rate of return of these barrels is very, very low. Less than 0.5% of these barrels come back. We've talked to people that purchased these barrels back in 2015 and they're still working today. So these are 50-gallon barrels that a homeowner can purchase for the subsidized price inside of one of these 11 municipalities for just $55. That's a really big discount from the retail price of $143 for these barrels. So it's a big, big savings. The municipalities that are offering these barrels for that price while supplies last are Mill Creek, Salt Lake County, Cottonwood Heights, Murray, Harriman, Taylorsville, Orem, Lehigh, Mountain Regional Water up in Summit County itself, and Park City. And so while those supplies last, those barrels are $55. Residents in Utah outside of those municipalities can purchase the same barrel for $83, which is still a substantial discount from the retail price of $143. And the idea, as you can see from that photo on the right, is that the downspout of the water coming off of people's roofs is articulated to come into this rain barrel. You can't see it in this picture, but this rain barrel, the top of it is like a dish, and it has a mosquito screen in there to collect the sediments that are coming off of the roof and prevent mosquitoes from getting inside and laying their larvae eggs in there. And then once the gallon fills up to 50 gallons, you can see there's a tube off to the right that into the ground for all water after 50 gallons is collected. And also at the bottom of that barrel, you can see there's just a nozzle there that a resident can connect a standard garden hose to. And then just the pressure of that 50 gallons of water is enough to use that water after a rainstorm several days later to water plants and other vegetation. I guess that's all vegetation, isn't it? You'll also see on the left side of the barrel, there's a little nozzle, a little nub sticking out on the left side at the top. And that is used to connect multiple barrels together so that you could collect 100 or 150 or 200 gallons from one downspout if there was a big enough rainstorm. So that's the fundamental concept of the barrel itself. Residents can purchase these barrels off of this website that you can see there, rainbarrelprogram.org. Again, that's in the press release. Well, make sure we throw this press release into the chat as well so that you've got a copy of it. You can see this is just a screenshot of the website. Once residents go from these municipalities or across Utah, go to this website. If they are eligible for the discounted $55 price for this barrel, we just will verify their location and send them a verification code so that they can actually purchase the barrels. And then after the sale closes, this web sale closes on April 23, then residents can go to one of 3 different locations that we're setting up to pick up their barrels, which stack together inside of each other. And so you can fit them into the back seat of even a small sedan. And so that's the program in a nutshell. Again, we are just so excited to partner with our municipalities today. And without further ado, I would like to introduce the first of our speakers, which, let me see here the order one more time. Bear with me for a moment while I pull open the agenda. Here we go. So speaking with us first will be Mayor Jeff Silvestrini, the mayor of Mill Creek City. Jeff?
Yeah, thank you, Zach. Mill Creek is pleased to be participating in this rain barrel program. This would be our 5th straight year of doing this. And, our residents really enjoy these rain barrels, and each year the demand for them has gone up. And our city council has actually had to double the appropriation that we made for this in that time. But it's really a worthwhile program, and it's really fun because I go to the distribution when I can, and I help load rain barrels into the people's cars, and it's fun to see residents coming back year after year for their 2nd or their 3rd rain barrel. They're so popular. So it's really distributing them is one of the fun things that we get to do, and so I'm happy that we're going to be able to sponsor that again here at Mill Creek City Hall. These rain barrels conserve water, and they allow our residents to put it to good use in watering their gardens and their lawns, and that helps us reduce stormwater and the runoff that we would otherwise have into our streets and gutters. So this program not only is a smart thing for people to do to conserve water, and especially in a drought, but it also helps our cities with respect to managing our stormwater and educating our residents about the need to manage stormwater and to keep it clean. So it's really a great program, and it's fun, and it helps us all be better stewards of one of Utah's most precious resources, which is our water. So I really want to thank the Rivers Council and all the other municipalities that participate with us in this program, because it's a really worthwhile thing, and it's a fun thing to do, and our residents love it. Thanks a lot, Zach.
Thank you, Mayor Silvestrini. As very articulate. Thank you so much. We really appreciate Mill Creek's leadership over many years trying to save water and improve water quality. Up next is Samantha DeSealhorst, the Associate Planner and Sustainability Analyst with Cottonwood Heights. Samantha?
Yeah, thanks for the introduction. It's great to be here. I was kind of thinking through maybe what I wanted to share about this program, and it's difficult because there are so many things I love about it. But I think to distill it down into just a really brief sentiment, I just really appreciate that it allows us to help target a really complex and interconnected puzzle, that being water conservation, from kind of a new scale. So, so we're looking at these really puzzling situations, we look at a really high level kind of top-down approach with policy and legislation. And that is so important and absolutely has its role, as we've seen in the legislative session that just wrapped. But I think it's also just as important to invest in kind of bottom-up, hyper-local approaches, which is what we're seeing just quite literally with this program in people's backyards. So I just appreciate that it allows us to kind of scale differently on an issue that is going to require all hands on deck to address. So we're so excited to be participating, and thank you again for having us.
Thank you so much, Samantha. All right, that was wonderful. Next up will be Elisa Hoffman, the Assistant General Manager of Mountain Regional Water up in Summit County. Lisa?
Thank you, Zach. Mountain Regional Water is so excited to be a part of the program this year. This is our first year, and we're just trying to help contribute to the efforts that our community started up here with Summit County and Park City Municipal. Last year, our customers really listened when we asked them to conserve water. And I'm just really grateful that we now have this additional resource, this program, to help them continue with those conservation efforts this year and into the future. And I think one of the things I liked most about getting a water agency, Mountain Regional, involved in this program is really the tangible hands-on experience our customers can get from these rain barrels. And it can really also be brought to their families and to their kids. And I think getting kids involved in water conservation and water resources at such a young age is such a great lesson to learn. And so, like we've said, help them kind of be the stewards of the future for this really precious resource. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. It's very inspiring. We totally found that people have reverence for these rain barrels. It's really remarkable once they start appreciating the value of water in their own hands. It's really inspiring to see. All right, up next is City Council Member Sherry Orem from Harriman City.
Hi, Zach. Thanks for letting me be here with you guys today. I would echo a lot of the things I've already said, but you just used an interesting word. You just said a reverence for water, and we really, really need to have a reverence for water. It is, in my opinion, our most precious resource because it's life-sustaining. We don't do anything without it. So we have to be really good stewards of it. In Harriman, we have a really unique area out here. We're in a very rapid growth period in our city, and we just recently annexed another big chunk of property that will bring in another large amount of substantial growth out here. And the interesting thing about our topography is that this area is dryland farm type of land. So it's not land that we're getting water conversion off of. So if you're looking at now having to supply water to several more residential units, we don't have water conversion for that. We're taking dry land and having to supply it with water. So we have to look at every opportunity we possibly can to try and minimize our footprint on our natural resource, which is very valuable and it's finite. We don't get to create more of it. So we have to look at ways, like the former person just said, we have to look at innovative ways to come up with different solutions to not just legislate conservation, but to provide conservation in our communities. And I believe these rain barrel programs would be a great way to have people really looking internally, looking at their own households, looking at their own footprint, and see how they can contribute to the conservation that's so necessary in our state. I would say it's critical. So I really appreciate the opportunity we have to participate in this. I'm excited about it, and I think our residents will really be excited about it too and get on board as just another place that they can move towards conservation in our state.
Thank you very much. That was very insightful. We really appreciate that, Councilwoman Orem. That's wonderful. Okay, so moving on now, let's hear from Mayor Christie Overson of Taylorsville City. Mayor Overson?
Thanks, Zach. I am so excited to be part of this program. We've not done this before, so we're taking a leap. But as I listen to the comments before me, it sounds like this is going to be a really fun program. And for me, I think this will be a great opportunity to learn more about water conservation. In our city, we're a built-out city in a small area of, a 10 square mile area. And so capturing rainwater is going to be really important to us. And what a fun family hands-on experience I think that this will be, as we can teach our children and have a visual right there where they can look. And during a rainstorm, you can go out and measure the water and see what's being captured. So I'm delighted to be, on behalf of the city, to be involved in this project. And it just, what a simple way that we can learn about water conservation. And hopefully we're going to make just a little bit of difference, one barrel at a time. We're really excited. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor Overson. That is really true. You know, we've had repeat customers come back year after year to buy another barrel. And what's one of the funniest things is when they pull up and roll down their window before we load their barrel, and I ask, okay, which one of you is the one sitting out in the rain watching a 50-gallon barrel fill with water? And there's always one person that's like, oh, guilty as charged. And it really is exciting to see people really steward and understand the value of water. It really is a fun family activity. So it's really a great project to be a part of. Okay, up next is Todd Munger, the Sustainability and Recovery Director of Lehigh City.
Thanks, Zach. And Kai, I would like to especially publicly express my appreciation to both of you for all of your effort in helping Lehigh City understand the validity of this program. You know, we all are aware of the fact that we're in a water, shortage, crisis, drought condition. And this crisis really doesn't need some kind of a huge movement or, some kind of a detailed public policy awareness while that's something that we all hope for long-term but the scope we have to realize and the scale is just really daunting in that sense that, like the legislature going through all of the initiatives and whatnot. But we have to realize that there is something we can do, and we can't be paralyzed because of these, these big movement things that we think we should be associated with. And I think that this program, Rain Harvest, offers Lehigh City's residents that opportunity, like Samantha said, to dummy it down to a grassroots level, to a individual level, to do something. And so Lehigh City is, extremely excited to participate in this program, and we're looking forward to a great opportunity for our residents to help conserve water. So thank you.
Thank you, Todd. That was very insightful. Really excited to work with you. Thank you so much for your excitement and enthusiasm in this program. It's been great to work with you. All right, next up is Darren Hawkins, the chair of the Orem Natural Resources Stewardship Committee for Orem City. Darren?
Hi, thank you. This will be Orem's first year in the program, and we're excited to just kind of learn what it's all about. I'm enjoying listening to other people who have been before us. And I'm a citizen who chairs the Citizen Committee, and we were very interested in the program for all the reasons that have been articulated, and I'm not sure I can add very much, so thanks for having us along.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you very much. We're happy to welcome you in. And finally, our last speaker today is Max Doylny. I hope I enunciated your name correctly. Max is the council member from Park City City Council. Max?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Zach. I echo what most have said here. We're excited to be a part of the program. Park City's always looking for new tools in the toolbox, sort of to spread the message. On a macro side, Park City's at the very top of a watershed, and anytime you turn on the water tap or anytime you pump water out of your house, that water has to have been pumped up, treated, and then pumped back through the system, etc. There's a lot of energy involved in getting water to pump out of your house. And then on the micro side, it's really, I agree with everybody here, the family connection. Our rain barrel is really fun for our kids to go out and they get to see how much water our garden actually needs, rather than just a turn on a cycle and it waters for 30 minutes or whatever. They can see very specifically how much water they're using, where we got it, and how much water these plants actually need to live, rather than just soaking everything. So it's really kind of works on both sides. We got our kids talking about it at school. We obviously talk about it at the legislative level, so it hits at all levels, but this is a really cool hands-on piece to the puzzle. And, it's really inspiring to see all these communities stepping up in a state that absolutely needs to be a leader on water conservation. So thank you guys. Thanks for all the work you're doing. This is a really cool program.
Thank you, Max. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, that brings us to the end of our speakers. Now, what we were going to do is Samantha and I were going to try out our 20 minutes of stand-up material, but I think we're just going to do Q&A from the media. So members of the media, you can either type questions into the chat or just go ahead and speak up, and we are psyched to answer any and all questions you may have about the program and the municipal partners today.
If anyone would like to hear water-related stand-up, just come to one of the city council meetings I present at. It never goes over well, but you're welcome to come.
Excellent. Excellent. Are there questions?
Hey, Zach, this is Jed Bowl. Talk a little bit, if you would, please, about about how using one of these barrels helps to instill that conservation ethic once a person has started using one.
It's a really good question, Jed. You know, the thing that we have trouble as human beings, as people, is to really understand what a quantity of water means. You know, a lot of times what you see described about in water, especially on a policy level, is acre feet, which is just a bizarre unit of measurement, which happens to be 325,851 gallons, the amount of water that covers an acre of land 1 foot deep. So it's so meaningless. When we talk about water conservation, it's hard to really quantify it. It's hard to really have it be meaningful for people. And what we found with these barrels that we did not anticipate when we kicked off the program 7 years ago was that it teaches people what saving water means and how much water we're actually using. Because when you collect 50 gallons, which, as you saw from the picture, is a really big barrel of water, and you collect 50 gallons and then you use it on your landscape, you realize how much water we as homeowners are using outside on our homes every day in spring and summer and early fall months. We're literally using tens of thousands of gallons in a household. Most households are, you know, every month. So collecting rainwater helps people really learn about water and have some reverence for water and understand what these volumes mean. What we found is people that are coming back to purchase barrels again in the future and subsequent years are just very, very grateful for the program and for the chance to sort of honor the water that is this gift coming out of the sky every rainstorm. And with that, I want to shut up. Would anybody else like to chime in among our speakers about that? Okay, I bored everybody to death, which was my goal there. So are there other questions that folks have? All right, well, we are about 26 minutes into this press conference, so we ended early. I guess Samantha will have to try out our water stand-up comedy routine in the future. And unless anybody has any other questions for any of our speakers, would love to entertain those right now.
I have a question, Zach. Is there any data on other regions of the country that use rain barrel programs, and I know it's hard to track this kind of stuff, but is there any indication of how much water saving you get from communities that have robust programs compared to communities that maybe are lacking a little bit there?
Really good question, Max. You know, there's sort of two answers to that. So firstly, you know, there is a lot of data out there about how much water can be saved, and it varies by region, right? Because what we see, of course, for the majority of our precipitation budget in Utah is our snowpack. 85% of 90% of the water that we drink and use in our landscapes along the Wasatch Front, and for that matter, our farms and ranches, you know, it comes from our snowpack, snow melt. So we don't have as robust of rainstorms, especially in the summer months, as some communities, of course, back east, where they have so much water coming out of the sky. It creates a big problem for water quality, and especially obviously in urbanized communities. So the results sort of vary by region. There was a model that a group of Utah Valley University students put together here for the Salt Lake Valley. They built a GIS model of all the homes, and they found that we could reduce our water demand by 10 to 20% if we had a really high adoption rate of rain barrels in the homeowner sector. So, we don't want to say that rain barrels could, reduce our water use to virtually nothing, because that would not be true. But reducing our water use 10 to 20% through a wide adoption of rainwater collection, obviously that would be a really important tool in the toolbox. And that's not even to speak of what we could do if we could change the state policy around commercial rainwater collection, allowing businesses and other large buildings to collect water, and then in large cisterns instead of 50-gallon drums, but to do large cistern collection at the onset of building design. We could really make dents in our urbanized sector to reduce water use. If you want to see the GIS model, or anybody wants to see the results of that Utah Valley University study, love to share it with you. It's really fascinating to what extent they did to answer your question.
I apologize, I got one more. I always perceive it as a myth, but are there any roof types that should not, or you should be concerned about, with the asphalt roof, shingles versus, because there's a lot of shedding that comes off a roof. I know that goes into our stormwater drains and stuff. A lot of us use these rain barrels to water our gardens. Is there anything there that we should know about, or is that more, I know there's a lot of filtration that goes on in the soil, so that's a pretty good filter. I trust it more than most man-made things.
Yeah, really good question. So a couple of things, just so we're clear for everybody listening, Max. So, we don't recommend collecting this rainwater for human consumption, for immediate drinking water, because of what you just identified, what's coming off of the roof catchment system. And especially, we all have seen asphalt shingles if we have an asphalt roof, which is what most roofs are made of. Are collecting, are draining that water into those rain barrels, in addition to whatever's on top of the roof, bird droppings or what have you. As far as what you point out in applying to the soil, the natural filtration of the soils, probably good enough, but I haven't actually seen any studies. For example, if this rainwater was to be used for vegetable gardens for human consumption, I wouldn't want to speculate about what the connection might be. People use these predominantly for their lawns and for flower gardens and stuff. They could be used in other applications for fruits and vegetables, to be sure. The ideal roof collection for having better water quality would probably be steel or aluminum, a metal roof that has a much lower rate of decay of the hard matter into the water column. But again, I'd want to see some water quality studies before I would really speculate further. All right, well, are there any other questions from anyone at all, or obviously members of the media have any questions for our speakers? I promise I will shut up if you want to ask another question of one of our speakers. All right, well, I would like to thank everybody for tuning in to today's Rain Harvest press conference for the 2022 year. We look forward to the distribution day, and we'll be making a few announcements during the Rain Harvest sale, and look forward to coming back to working media to announce our progress in selling these barrels up between now and Earth Day, and we appreciate your time and energy today. Everybody have a great day, and keep your fingers crossed for more water from the sky. Thank you very much.